A lot of people go on the internet, especially recently. Well, in the last few years, about there's a lot of moaning and bitching on the internet about people's attitudes towards fishing and how it's got so commercial and this, that, and the other. And I think it's a real shame because it's a pastime that everyone enjoys who participates, and it's each to their own really. Some people like doing sessions, sitting behind rods and waiting out for a bite, and others like going to low stock big pits and and trying really hard to catch a difficult fish. But at the end of the day, you can't sit there and moan about what other people are doing, because it's unfair really, or take it away from other people who are doing what they want to do, because time is a lot is a huge factor. People who have jobs, there are still some people who have jobs these days, they've only got limited time, and you want to use that time wisely. I spent years chasing big fish in low stock waters and managed to catch a few, but the time it takes, and the only reason I caught those fish was because I kept mobile and kept moving. And obviously there's people who have the time to just sit in one spot for 2 or 3 weeks at a time and just keep piling bait in, and eventually pretty much anyone given that space and time will catch a fish doing that. Consistency is what you're looking for, and that sort of sets the better anglers from the rest, is when you can consistently catch fish. And obviously if you do that, you're going to get noticed, and you're going to get people who want you to represent them and use their product. And I think it's progression. The kids love it. The kids are involved in carp fishing because the amount of media attention it gets, especially on the internet and with the Korda stuff and the tight lines and all that sort of thing. And it's got to be a good thing rather than a bad thing. But there's still people who, a lot of it stems from jealousy. A lot of it stems from people. Someone's caught a big fish from one water, and other people are going to moan and say, "Wow, whatever, this, that, and the other." They've all got their own opinions, and everyone's entitled to their opinions. I get frustrated with a lot of people. It's all down to looking after fish. It's the only thing that really gets on my nerves. I don't care what sort of fishing people want to do or how they go about it, as long as they look after the fish. And if they go to fisheries where, they're especially private fisheries, they respect the rules. They might not agree with them, but they have to respect them, or go somewhere else. There's plenty of places to go. But as an angler, you pay for the right to fish the lake, and you have to abide by the rules. It's no different in any other sport or organisation. The fact is that every angler thinks that they know everything about fishing, and the amount of times I've heard people say, "Oh, I've been fishing for 30 years, I've done this, I've done that, I've caught big fish in France, I've done this," but then they haven't got no hooking mat. And simple things like that, that's what really gets my goat. But as far as people who want to promote brands and put little logos in the bottom corner of their pictures and stuff, if you're passionate about it, and you can get a bit of free bait and a bit of free tackle out of companies, then so what? I think it's the only people who tend to moan about it are the people who aren't getting it and who want it. They're a bit jealous, so they take to the keyboard and start moaning. But I just think it's a bit unfair really. I think fishing is as good as it's been. Okay, the internet, if you didn't have the internet and you just went fishing, you wouldn't know anything about all the moaning really. You're going to get people, places like Lynn are a classic example. It's full all the time. There's loads of people there, loads of big fish, but a lot of people blank, and then they moan about it. Same down here, there's loads of big fish in the day ticket lake, and the regulars, they know the water, they know what it's like, they can catch them. But you get people who come on and blank and then have a moan and say, "Oh, there's no fish in here," and you think, well, you can't deal with people like that, because it is only bad anglers that moan, only anglers with little ability or skill, or not, or they're not willing to learn. And then people moan about people giving angling lessons and tuition. I do that. I do a lot of it when it suits me in the summer when I'm not so busy. And I really enjoy it. It's mainly kids and people who want to learn carp fishing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It should be promoted. There should be more people doing it. I did the proper courses, and I'm in a position where I've got access to everything I need in the waters and a background in fisheries. So I really enjoy it and get a lot out of it. But again, I bang home the fact that especially if novices, if they're fishing, their priority is to look after the fish. Otherwise, you shouldn't be fishing. Simple as that. You can have all the gear, 10 grand worth of equipment, and look the part, and sit there with your arms folded like me, giving everyone advice. But at the end of the day, when you catch that fish, if you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be fishing, which is why the problem comes in when the kids now, not just kids either, you know, there's plenty of adults who go and buy all the kit, they turn straight up at a lake with 30-pound fish in. Sometimes they're lucky enough to catch one, and then how they treat them on the bank is absolutely appalling, and there's just no need for it at all, and that's what really annoys me. You know, from a background in growing up in and around fish, actually hands-on, not just writing the odd article, but actually fish farming and handling fish and selling fish and growing on fish every day, all around the country and in Europe. I've been very lucky, but you know, I think these people should go and actually catch a lot of fish before they start trying to catch less but bigger ones. It's just my own opinion, you know. I love my fishing. I still do. You know, I still try and get out when I can. It's not as much as I'd like, but each to their own at the end of the day. And if you've got, you know, if you're moaning about other people's success or failures and stuff, then really you just wonder what else you're doing in your life. Probably not much, I guess, but bike time now, so probably get one soon.